I have a hook nose. So when I was a child, my mom would massage my nose every night for 5 minutes to make it straight. So like if you get really, really, really close to me and you look, you'll see I have a very little self-esteem.
That was the hilarious Colombian American comedian Pedro Gonzalez. He's coming to town and he's turning immigrant life, marriage, and dad jokes into pure comedy gold. As the first Latino immigrant to ever perform stand up on The Colbert Show, Pedro doesn't just tell jokes, he tells stories with his own brand of heart and humor. Let's welcome Pedro Gonzalez. Pedro, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I mean, Pedro, we saw a little bit of you on the Colbert Show, and I mean, your comedy often draws from your life personally as an immigrant, a husband, a dad. So, I mean, what inspired you to turn your personal experiences into laughter on stage?
I moved here to the United States and I discovered comedy. That was not like a career path that you could have in Colombia. And I used to watch a lot of comedy when I used to work at the DEA, where when doing wiretaps, we had a lot of dead time. So then I would turn to the TV, and then my friends from work noticed that I love that, and I also love telling stories. So they told me people make a living doing that here. Go take a class, and I took a class, fell in love with it, and I do it to this day. It's been 12 years.
There you go, 12 years going strong. And I mean, being the first Latino immigrant comedian to perform on the Colbert Show is huge. So, what did that milestone mean to you and your community?
I mean, to be honest, I didn't grow up here, so I didn't grow up being like wowed by the whole factor of
Yeah.
being on TV. Obviously, when you start in New York, you feel like you're invisible, and then being on TV gives you a little bit of credibility. But I still, I'm very proud. You know, I started speaking English when I was 20 years old.
Wow.
And the last thing you imagine is, oh, I'm gonna do stand-up comedy. You know, the most the fear-inducing thing that you can do in public. I'm gonna do it in a language that is not my first language. It felt incredible, and I'm proud to this day. And I think a lot of my international comedians, because doing stand-up in English is the goal, and my friends from other countries they tell me you did it. So then it earns you respect and it makes you proud, and it's also good to inspire other people that they can do it as well.
Yeah, and I mean, you've been successful at it. And like you said, being a stand up comedian is not for the weak. You got to have really thick skin to do it. So kudos to you. And I mean, you're continuously doing it. You have a show coming here in Sacramento on October 28th at Laughs Unlimited. So, what can Sacramento audiences expect from your live show? Is it kind of a mix of English and Spanish and storytelling? Maybe a little sarcasm thrown in there?
So I come right off the bat and I tell you what happened at the airport. You know, you live your life, you get into stuff with people, you get into arguments with the people at the airport. Comedy is not about your best self. You know, you fail, you try and fail. It's humor about me going about my day. It's me being married to an American woman, and how we have a baby, and how I want to parent this way, she wants to parent that way. And it's just a lot of jokes about who I am, where I come from, about my experience as a Latino, and it's I promise you some of the best joke writing you'll ever hear. Because I'm proud to say that I do comedy every day in New York City, and we work hard at it.
Yes, definitely. And I mean, you do stand up comedy, that's the full time job. But what day jobs did you have before doing comedy?
I my first job in the United States, I was a janitor, and I actually one of my best jokes that I wrote at the beginning was about how you would watch Good Will Hunting, and you would be like, oh, you can be a janitor, and then end up at Harvard. Well, how would that look for me as an immigrant who cleaned toilets at a pre-K? You know, what if I solved those math equations? Would that get me to Harvard? Or would that get me fired?
There you go.
So I was a janitor. I used to work. I was a Spanish teacher. I work at the DEA, stopping the bad guys, doing wiretaps, and office jobs. But
Yeah.
nothing compares to stand up. It's a lot of work. You know, we fail a lot when you don't see us, but It's the most rewarding thing I've ever done.
There
Super
you
fun.
go. Yeah, well, we're excited to see you here in Sacramento, Pedro. We appreciate your time and for being on our show as well. I'm going to let our viewers know where they can go for more information. You can see Pedro Gonzalez perform at Laughs Unlimited on October 28th in Sacramento. Find out more by heading to pedrodgonzalez.com.